Today we're going to install the deslugger on this '07 Yukon Denali. Now the deslugger is going to prevent slugging from occurring. Well, what is slugging, you might ask? Slugging is something that happens in the AC system on a lot of these low mount compressor type vehicles, such as the Yukon Tahoe, Suburban, maybe even a Honda CR-V, where the AC compressor is mounted low in the vehicle. Oil runs into the compressor. Now we normally want oil in the compressor, but too much of it is going to cause what you might refer to as hydrolocking. When the compressor's turned on, it can't compress that oil and it does internal damage, referred to as slugging. So on this particular vehicle with a rear AC system, the oil drains out of the rear evaporator core through the tubes, ends up in the AC compressor. So at the end of the day, the customer comes home, this occurs. The next morning, the customer gets in the vehicle, turns the AC system on, and a full 12 volts is applied to the AC clutch, and if there's too much oil in there, that causes the slugging. This is going to result in internal compressor failure as well as a knocking type noise. So if one of these vehicles experiences a knocking type sensation, good chance that slugging has already occurred. What the deslugger is going to do, it's going to gently variable pulse width power to that AC compressor clutch after it's been sitting for 30 minutes or more in the off position. What this will do is generally start flowing the oil out of the system before it applies the full 12 volts and turns the system on. This is going to help protect it. Well, when should we install a deslugger? Well, in this particular vehicle, the customer's got no concerns. The AC system's working fine, the compressor's nice and quiet. We want to prevent slugging from occurring, so we're going to go ahead and install the deslugger. Now, on vehicles that may have had damaged compressors in the past, you install a new compressor, it's a very good idea to install a deslugger at the same time. Protect that investment now. It's very simple to install. This comes with direct fit electrical connections. We're simply going to disconnect the electrical connector at the compressor and install this in line, mount it somewhere where it's not getting melted on the exhaust manifold or something like that. Test the system, make sure it works, and that's all there is to it. We've just successfully protected our compressor and installed the deslugger. Now, in order to install the deslugger on this vehicle, we have to gain a little access here. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the air inlet from the air filter to the throttle body. I'm also going to move the upper radiator hose out of the way. Then we're going to get down to the connector on the compressor and we'll plug in directly to the compressor. Now that we're at the connector, you can see I'm using a flat blade screwdriver here to pop the terminals loose, and I'm going to disconnect the electrical connector. Now we'll plug in the deslugger, and really that's it. Next thing we need to do is mount the deslugger in a safe area where it's not going to rub up against any chassis components or against the exhaust manifold. Once that's done, we're going to make sure the system works and the job is complete. Here we see a scope capture in which B+ is directly applied to the compressor clutch as well as a ground. Now this is on a vehicle without a deslugger. If there's any oil in the compressor, damage will occur in this scenario. Now if we look at a vehicle with a deslugger already installed, we see that battery plus is applied to the clutch, but the ground is toggled on and off, which is going to protect the compressor in case there is oil buildup in it. This is the benefits of the deslugger here. It's going to gradually wake up that compressor.